And good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to have more fun than our legal limit today. We got a great show in store for all of you. First interview today will be a young lady named Sheila Bennett. She is the owner of Suncatcher Cafe out in Watkinsville. They've got a great event coming up that we're going to help them promote, so you're going to want to stick around and hear about that. Pete Wasnick, lawyer here in Monroe, is going to be after that. Brandon Hutchison, he is the executive VP of Echo Park Speedway, formerly known as Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is a big race coming up, Chastity, and he's going to be on talking about that.
Yes.
And then in the second hour, my good friends, Ken and Susan Boss, they are the owners of Boss Brothers Country Store. Looking forward to sitting down and having a conversation with them. Chastity, there's a couple little news niblets that I've got queued up for us to talk about. I want to get your opinion on something first before I dig into this first one.
Okay.
So I was trying to think, how do I draw this up and frame this for you, because I don't want you to know what I'm talking about yet.
Okay.
So it's top secret.
It's on the spot.
It is. So I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay.
Let's say you found out your great-great-grandfather, let's say great-great-great-grandfather from the 1800s did something bad. Let's say he robbed a bank.
Okay.
All right? Something you're not proud of.
Okay.
And so 150 years later, they come to you, Chastity, and they expect you to make it right. Are you responsible for what great-great-great-grandpa did?
I hope not.
If they came to you with a bill, or maybe wanted you to serve a prison sentence for great-great-great-grandpa, the famous bank robber. I'm not striking a nerve, am I? Was there did you have a great-great-grandfather that was a bank robber that I'm not aware of? You're kind of sweating a little bit. Is this something you're hiding from me?
No, my great-grandfather, like you're talking, from Blairsville, Georgia, actually did invent a flying apparatus in 1874. So I was hoping you were going there. So a bank robbery?
Way.
No, that's not.
All right, let's put my story on pause for just a second. Tell us about this.
Yeah, absolutely. So Micaiah Clark Dyer from Blairsville, Georgia. So you know the Highway 180 that'll take you to Brasstown off of Blood Mountain? So that whole parkway is dedicated and been named after Micaiah Clark Dyer. So in 1874, he sent off for a patent in Washington, D.C. for a flying apparatus. And so the patent was granted, and for a couple of years, the townspeople thought that he was a hermit, and he was building the flying apparatus, and actually took it off of the mountain, Rattlesnake Mountain, off of 180 there at the Parkway, and flew the plane. And even the New York Times wrote about it. So
are you kidding me?
It's fascinating.
So when you say flying apparatus, you mean like an aircraft?
Yes.
And was it manned? Like he was on it when he flew?
He flew the plane, or it was kind of like it was not powered. So it was an air kind of type thing. So it was like almost
like
kind
a
of
glider,
like
a glider type deal.
A glider, yes. But it had the rudders. It had all of the good stuff. And actually, the same patent that he invented in 1874 went to the Wright brothers. And so the difference is the Wright brothers was a powered apparatus. So it's kind of cool.
And did your great-great-grandfather, did he survive the landing?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
And he's actually got a spot in the Smithsonian in D.C. now, so a lot of hard work.
Have you been to visit this?
I've not seen that I've been to the Smithsonian, but not since his dedication.
Field trip.
Yep, exactly. So, but yes, my aunt, Sylvia Dyer Turnage, is the historian out there in Blairsville, and she's a retired history teacher from Union County Schools, and she's just done fascinating work recovering all of his work. You are
full of surprises.
I love it.
Was this why you wanted to become a pilot?
Well, I always say it was in my blood. I just didn't discover it until later in life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, my story sucks now. I don't want to continue with my story. No. That's way better.
But that was definitely.
What else? What other kind of secrets are you harboring? All right. So, good news is your great-great-grandpa wasn't a bank robber,
thank goodness,
train robber.
Yeah.
Well, so you know where I was going with this. You sniffed it out.
Yeah.
So there's a town in Illinois, Evanston, Illinois, that has decided they're actually following through with making $25,000 payments to 44 residents as part of their city's reparations program. I think this is a terrible idea. I do not see how you lay the blame on something that took place several generations ago at the feet of taxpayers and have to fund this. You know, look, this was a terrible moment in our lives, but our country went to war over this and other reasons but went to war. One of the reasons was because of slavery. Over 750,000 Americans died in that war.
Yes.
Enough blood was shed. The price was paid. And so then now to try to figure out how you compensate people today, which are not even adversely affected. Now, I'm not going to sit there and analyze every single situation that's taken place or something. Well, there's people that are still oppressed. I don't buy into that. I think at this point of our country, if you cannot get on your feet on your own and not make a go of this, that is a you problem, not a legacy problem. It's not a history problem. It's a you problem. And so for them to now say, well, we're going to use taxpayer dollars, just don't get it. Now, here's what I find funny. I guess in this particular case, they said they're going to tax Delta H THC products. I guess that's the simulated marijuana. I'm not real up on the whole Delta THC stuff.
No, I have no clue.
So I don't know if that's like the vape pens. There's maybe some
those
listeners
things are so terrible for the kids.
Well, but I think this has the same drug that marijuana has in it. Again, I'm probably botching that. This is not my wheelhouse. But so they're going to tax. So I love this. They're going to tax the dope smokers to pay for reparations. I mean, that is just vintage right there. Got to be a bunch of Democrats running that show. Sorry, folks. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Hey, this is good news. I always try to find good news. I don't want to make it all bad news.
Of course not.
So the Major Cities Chiefs Association, the MCCA, finds that violent crime has declined across every category in U.S. largest cities during 2025. What else happened in 2025?
Right.
Something else big happened in 2020. Oh, President Trump was inaugurated, and the zero tolerance for crime initiative began.
Right.
So homicides fell by 19%, rape decreased 9%, robberies down 20%, aggravated assaults nearly 10%. The biggest declines, I find this interesting, were reported in many of the Sun Belt in southern cities. Okay. Orlando and Tampa saw more than a 50% drop. And then, of course, several of the bigger western cities also experienced substantial declines. Seattle, Denver, Honolulu. I didn't know they had major crime issues out in Honolulu. And Albuquerque.
Yeah. And the border.
Some
0%.
saw, well, yep, absolutely in the border. Some areas saw rising homicide rates. Boston, El Paso, Fort Worth, Milwaukee, parts of New York. But it's just, in my opinion, this is a glaring example of leadership from the top down when we finally say, hey, there's absolutely no appetite for this type of activity in our country to just go unchecked. And that's what was taking place for the past 4 years prior to the Trump administration. I don't care how you slice it and dice it. There was just an appetite to turn the cheek once we saw a crime being committed.
Yes.
So love hearing that statistics, and hopefully they can keep that ball rolling into 2026. And this last little bit, I found this story kind of interesting, that several Republican lawmakers want to look into the Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime show. So here we are 3 days later, and we're still talking about Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
NFL's most brilliant marketing trick ever.
Yeah,
I still haven't watched the show. I've watched snippets. I didn't get it. I don't even know who Bad Bunny was. I saw that parts of that Happy Gilmore movie, and I didn't know who he was in the movie. And then went, oh, that's Bad Bunny. It's like, who's Bad Bunny? Right. And then he's performing at the Super Bowl show. I still don't know who Bad Bunny is. I've never listened to his songs. I didn't find it to be entertaining in the snippets that I watched. I did realize he spoke Spanish, in my opinion, poorly. I speak Spanish pretty poorly. I speak it terribly, but I thought his may have been worse than mine. Wow. And so, what the Republicans are saying is, hey, we need to look into this per FCC rules to see if they did not potentially break some laws because of the fact that the vulgarity and maybe the things that he was saying. I guess they bleep some of it out, but I've often thought about that. It's like, hey, if you are on live radio and you are to start saying profanities in Spanish, are you going to be held in check? And so that's kind of a gray area. And I guess what they're saying is that he was saying stuff, and of course there was other suggestive content. I didn't see the suggestive content, but did you watch the show? Did we talk about this?
I didn't.
So you didn't see it either. Yeah, it'd be funny to somebody that actually watched the entire show what they could say about it if there was stuff in there that was inappropriate.
Yeah. Well, I hope they just clean that up altogether. because, you know,
across the board.
Yes,
yeah.
all together.
Well, we talked about this before that back in the day when I was a kid. If you turned on TV in, say, the 70s or 80s, it was really vanilla, right?
Absolutely.
Very clean, no profanity, no suggestive stuff. You know, even the violence was really toned down, Chastity.
Right.
And now, if you just turn on regular programming, just whether it be, let's use a sitcom for example. Tons of suggestive vulgarity.
Sure.
And then, of course, a lot of the dramas have real violent stuff taking place.
Yeah.
You know,
And
things that we didn't see in movies. We didn't see that R-rated movies years ago.
Right, not at all. And it just seems like each year it's just more and more kind of just mind-blowing what is being released. And, you know, it'd be nice to see a more wholesome, cleaned-up version of some things for a change.
Especially on public television.
Yes.
Yep, anything that's public access. And you use the word mind-blowing. I'm going to call it, you know what's happening, Chastity? It's mind-numbing. Because what ends up happening is if you continue to watch these types of programs, whether it's suggestive, vulgar behavior, vulgar language, violence. And look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you one of my favorite movies is Goodfellas. That's probably one of the most violent movies ever.
Yeah, but, I mean, still, it's, you know, it's not normalizing. You know, that's kind of what's going on, is a lot of normalizing. And,
You're right. You're right.
So,
I have, you know, there's plenty of movies I watch that I like that are pretty violent movies. But again, those are pay movies. You know what you're getting into. It's not just being scrolled across the television
on the
channel.
news or everything that you're,
Scarface.
I agree.
I like Scarface.
See, I'm not a big movie watcher, so I'm kind of like, oh.
Scarface was violent. The first rendition of Scarface, Chastity, that came out in, I think, 1982, 84, somewhere in there, it was X-rated because of the violence.
Really?
They had to tone it down.
Oh.
That's how, and Scarface had one of the most iconic violent scenes, and they still didn't really show it, but it was a chainsaw scene. You know, you can let your imagination run.
Yeah.
And it was a violent scene, but you never saw the actual, you know, the carving of the meat, right? You didn't see the butcher go to work. You just saw the blood splattering and the suggestion, and that was bad enough.
You knew.
Now that's like G-rated stuff compared to the things that going on in movies now. It's gotten way.
My thought was Freddy Krueger just then. So I don't know. I wish I was more of a movie watcher, but I know my son and my husband talk about that movie a lot, so I think they're probably about where you are.
They don't make movies like they used to. Movies used to be just really, there was a great story, great acting. It was just compelling. Godfather. Movies like The Godfather, I don't think we'll ever see stuff like that again.
Well, I've heard that one's a good one, too.
Yeah. You haven't seen The Godfather?
No.
All right, you've got a homework job to do tonight.
It's terrible.
You can do Godfather 1 tonight, do Godfather 2 tomorrow night, and then just go ahead and skip Godfather 3. Don't even bother. It's a terrible movie.
Yeah. Okay.
But watch Godfather 1 and Godfather 2.
Okay.
Those are just
I'll let you know.
Must watch. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Sheila Bennett, owner of Suncatcher Cafe in Watkinsville.
Looking for that perfect piece of jewelry designed just for you? At P&A Jewelers, family owned since 1976, we've been helping our customers shine for nearly 50 years. Now proudly run by second-generation brother and sister team, we specialize in custom jewelry design, expert repair work, and fine jewelry for every occasion. Visit P&A Jewelers, where family tradition sparkles. Located in Loganville beside Quick Trip, or online at shoppajewelers.com. Follow us on Facebook to see what's new.
These days, many think that truth is relative. You have your truth and I have mine. Speaking your truth means staying true to who you are. It may be how you feel, what you believe, or how you identify. Truth, by definition, means conforming to a fact. Two contradictory ideas can't each both be true. One may be true, one wrong. Or both may be wrong, but they can't both be true. To say so is logical nonsense. So with all the fake news and opinions flying around, how can we know what's true? At Jesus' trial, Pilate cynically asked, "What is truth?" And Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." He's not claiming to be one truth, but the truth. Soon after Jesus spoke these words, he rose from the dead. That's enough to convince me that Jesus tells the truth. This is Bryant Wright, speaking right from my heart.
To subscribe to devotions, visit rightfromtheheart.org.
And welcome back, Marc McMain. Our first guest, Sheila Bennett, is the owner of Suncatcher Cafe in Watkinsville. Miss Sheila, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me, Mark.
Absolutely. Let's do this. Let's tell our listeners a little bit about your background. And I always find it interesting how entrepreneurs got into the restaurant industry, because that is not a business for anybody. It's a lot of work what you do. So tell us your story.
Well, I had always wanted to have a little breakfast restaurant, and I used to own a real estate magazine in Athens called Homes and Land Magazine. And in 2007, 2008, I started noticing that more and more people was getting away from print and looking at online, homes for sale online and stuff.
Right.
And when I started seeing a lot of my clients who advertised with me, going more online stuff, I kept thinking, well, what can I do? I really enjoyed working for myself. And I thought, well, I was getting ready to turn 50 years old, and I had always wanted to have a little breakfast restaurant. So I said, I am going to try it. And I was lucky enough to have one of my best friends say, well, if you do it, I'll get in there with you and help you. And here we are 9 years later, doing very good.
I love it. That is a great story. Now, were you a good cook prior to this? I mean, did you have like your own little menu built up of things that you loved making at home that people enjoyed?
I had my mom's recipes and my grandma's recipes.
Those are the best ones. Yeah.
But I've always enjoyed cooking, and we do a style cooking here. Breakfast, we do pancakes, French toast, omelets, and of course biscuits. Then on Sunday we do more of a country style cooking from 11 to 2 on Sundays, where it's just something you can't find every day. There's steakhouses on every corner, and chicken fingers and hamburgers, and but to get like a down home cooked meal, it's just you can find them sometimes around for lunch, but I wanted to kind of stay in my lane on what I felt like that I could do, and provide something back to the public. And this community here has just been amazing.
Very supportive. Yeah.
Yes.
And so during the week, so you're open for breakfast and lunch during the week, is that right, or just breakfast during the week?
Just breakfast only, Mark.
Okay.
Breakfast Tuesday through Saturday, and then Sunday lunch. And lunch is Sunday only, no breakfast on Sunday.
So lunch on Sunday, and is there a variety of things that you offer on Sunday, or is it a fixed menu each Sunday? Do you do something different?
No, each Sunday we do something different. I have a couple of things on the menu, like our staples, which is like, green beans, mac and cheese, mashed potatoes. But every Sunday we have different meats, and we have different casseroles and different peas and different desserts and things like that. Wow,
so it's kind of almost like going to Mom's house, for a Sunday. Like a Sunday lunch, going to Mom's house. The menu's going to change. It does. Well, I've been there for breakfast, and their breakfast is phenomenal. So it's really good. That's fantastic. I love that. And tell our listeners where you're located in Watkinsville.
We are at 42 Greensboro Highway. It's a little tricky. I'm right next door to a convenience store, which used to be Jack's Convenience Store. I'm also right beside Crimson Cafe and across from Jittery Joe's. And I'm in the same parking lot as the convenience store next door.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest, Sheila. She's the owner of Suncatcher Cafe in Watkinsville. Sheila, one more food question before we go on to the event that you guys are going to be hosting. Is there one of your dishes that you say is your favorite, or maybe one that you think is the big crowd pleaser on Sundays? Is there something... Is there a meatloaf, fried chicken, country fried steak? What is your specialty dinner that you think is the home run?
Whew, I would probably say, Mark, it was going to be tough between pot roast.
Ooh.
Not a lot of people offer pot roast.
You're
but,
right.
We let our pot roast cook for about 12 hours.
Wow.
Then sweet potato souffle. That's my mama's recipe, and I sell out of my sweet potato souffle every Sunday.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. That sounds so good.
Sounds delicious.
That does sound good. Well, I'm going to have to come check you out on a Sunday, too. Well, there's a big event coming up. Our beloved sheriff in Oconee County, Sheriff James Hale, his wife is dealing with a major health issue, and I know that you've taken the initiative to host a special dinner, and I want you to just kind of tell our listeners about the event, what the cause is, when, and just all the particulars, so that those that want to participate in this can find a way to come and help.
Okay. Well, it's for Michelle Hill, and it's going to be on Friday night, February 20th. It'll be from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. We're not normally open on Friday evenings, but this will be a special evening that we are doing a fundraiser for Michelle. She had a major brain surgery back at the end of December, and she has got some recovery time ahead of her, and she is a strong, beautiful person, and she is fighting very hard. So the Hales and all their extended family have supported me from the first day I opened. They've been, basically the backbone of Suncatcher Cafe. So what we're going to do is I've decided that we'd like to host a dinner here that night. We're selling dine-in tickets. Since I have limited seating, I'm only selling 100 dine-in tickets and unlimited carry-out tickets. And what that include will be a meat, 2 sides, a sweet tea or unsweet tea, and also our dessert. And our desserts are going to be amazing. Wow. They, they're going to include a lot of cheesecakes, all different kind of, these ladies who are making these cakes and stuff, a lot of them are extended family, and they've made a lot of cakes in their life. So, and they're homemade.
Oh, I bet you they're going to be so good.
No, they're going to be so good. But that evening, we're going to be offering a lot of our big menu items, which will be like our fried chicken smothered in white pepper gravy.
Oh, I love that.
Steak,
love that.
And our big crowd pleaser, fried catfish.
Wow.
And we're looking to have as many people as we can down here to make it as successful as possible for Michelle. And 100% of everything goes to Michelle. I'm donating the food. All the desserts have been donated by someone. My staff is going to donate their time. And so anything that we take in that evening, everything will go right back to Michelle.
Sheila, this warms my heart. You guys are being so generous, and I agree with you. This is just wonderful that you're stepping up to help the sheriff and his sheriff's wife. Just for clarity, so you've got 100 tickets you're selling for people who want to come dine in between the hours of 5 and 8. When they buy those tickets, is there a time slot they're assigned to so that you don't have the overcrowding? Have you guys figured out how to work that out, or how does that get orchestrated?
I can seat about 70 at a time.
Okay, gotcha. Yep. So you'll work it out. Yeah.
I am kind of thinking, and tickets are $20 each, and that includes a meat and two, and 2 sides and desserts, and you can get additional sides or additional desserts for extra $2 each. But I feel like I'm going to be okay. I have sold, I have probably maybe 20, 30 dine-in tickets left. But I feel like we will be able to get everybody rotated, in and out. And I don't think if somebody has to wait a few minutes to get seated,
nobody's going to be complaining.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have sold, we've sold quite a few carry-out tickets. And if you do decide to do a carry-out ticket, if you want to call ahead, we're already started taking carry-out orders now. That way, when you get here, if there's a line, you can just come straight around to the register, give us your name, and we'll have your stuff ready for you already.
This is just fantastic. So 100 tickets, there's only a handful remaining for dining in between the hours of 5 and 8, or if you want to carry out a meal, it sounds like it's going to be an incredible dinner. Call, do you want people to go to your Facebook page, or how do you want them to reach out to you, Sheila?
Yeah, just go to Suncatcher Cafe on Facebook. There's only one other Suncatcher. I think it's in England, so I shouldn't be too hard to find.
Yeah.
We're on there. You can send me a messenger on there, or you can call Suncatcher Cafe at 706-424-8281. We are so excited about this. I know the family, her family and everything, they have come up and they're constantly saying, hey, what can we do to help? So it's going to be an amazing night. It is. And just confirm, I think I've got my 2 tickets reserved already, so please don't let those slide.
Yes.
All right, you got me down.
Yes, me too.
I got you down.
Chastity's coming too. Yeah,
Yes,
we're coming in hot, so and we don't mind if we got to wait a little bit. And I'm coming hungry.
Not.
I'm not going to eat breakfast that day, so I can come in extra hungry at night. Sheila, I greatly appreciate what you're doing. I hope this is a smashing success, and keep us posted as to how this goes, and I look forward to seeing you that evening.
Mark, thank you so much for reaching out and letting me be a part of this, and we appreciate y'all's support, and I look forward to seeing you guys next Friday night.
Absolutely. That sounds great. Thank you. That's Sheila Bennett, owner of Suncatcher Cafe in Watkinsville. Chastity, once again, this is a small business owner stepping up. How many times have we seen this over the past couple of weeks?
Just amazing.
People stepping up in our community, helping out people in need that are going through a trial or tribulation.
So humbling.
It
I
is.
love
It
it.
just
I love our people.
Just fantastic stuff. This is great. So,
so kind.
Have you been there before? Have you ever been there in Watkinsville?
No, I haven't. But I am a breakfast person.
Yeah.
I think breakfast should be 3 meals a day. If you're going to eat 3 meals a day, I think it should be breakfast. So she is right up my alley.
Well, I've been there, and their biscuit is fantastic. So it's a great place for breakfast. So so she's breakfast Tuesday through Saturday, and Sunday she has the special. It sounds like maybe a lunchtime after church type lunchtime deal.
Yep.
So, but I love that she's doing. What did she say was chicken fried steak?
Chicken fried chicken.
Chicken fried chicken
with smothered in white gravy. I'm telling you,
that is my favorite.
Oh, my mouth's
that
over
is my
here,
favorite.
Like,
yeah,
drooling.
Just love it. Like catfish too, but I'm going for the chicken fried chicken. All right, the Marc McMain Show will be back in just a minute with our buddy Pete Wasnick. He is an attorney from Monroe. Hold tight.
Hey, this is attorney Bart Bitton with Bitton & Bitton. I live and work right here in Monroe, Georgia, and I am proud to serve this area. If you've been hurt in a car accident, you don't need some out-of-town lawyer that treats you like a number. You deserve a local lawyer you can trust, someone who lives here, works here, and takes care of people. So remember this, if you're ever in a car accident, be smart, call Bart. Bitton & Bitton, local lawyers you can trust.
Dreaming of the perfect backyard this summer? Hi, I'm Jason with Rosewood Luxury Pools. We design, build custom in-ground pools with timeless design and lasting quality. As a licensed general contractor, we handle every detail from concept to completion so you can just relax and enjoy the process. Summer's right around the corner. Let's get ready for your pool party. Give us a call at 678-635-7276 or look us up at rosewoodluxurypools.com.
Looking for a deal on a new 2025 Ford F-150? Then come to last year's #1 retail volume Ford dealer in the nation, Akins Ford in Winder. Hi, this is Brad Akins, and through January 31st, take $15,000 off the MSRP on remaining 2025 Ford F-150 XLTs and trimmers. Stock number 89625, MSRP 68758, with approved financing through Ford Credit and your 1995 renewer trade. Dealer retains factory rebates plus government fees. See dealer for details. Claim based on Ford's 2025 retail sales report. Visit us today at akinsford.com.
And welcome back to the Marc McMain Show. My next guest, Pete Wasnick. He is an attorney from Monroe, good buddy of mine. Pete, thanks for joining us today, sir.
Yeah, it's good to be here, Mark. Thanks for having me on.
Well, I figure I'd take advantage of having an attorney online. We can dig into some crime mysteries that are taking place either here locally and around the country, and you can help us solve these mysteries, or at least tell us the legalities of these mysteries. So I know I queued you up for a few of these. You ready for action?
Yeah, let's talk about them. I don't know if I can solve anything at all, but I'm happy to talk through anything you want to know about.
Well, and you know what? Let's do this. Tell our listeners a little bit about you. You and I have been friends through the Rotary Club over the past several years, but tell our listeners a little bit about you and how you got into the law practice.
Yeah, so I live in Monroe, actually Loganville now, but moved to Monroe about 5-6 years ago. Before that, I went to Emory Law School. I'm from out west originally, grew up in Utah, and then I came to Emory to go to school, and then ended up out this direction. I opened a law practice in 2018, and haven't really looked back. And in my practice, I primarily do criminal defense, but I also do some family law cases, and our firm does a few other things, but our greatest kind of interest is in criminal defense cases, and so that's what I spend a lot of my time doing.
Well, we were a little bit concerned a little bit ago that Chastity's great-great-great-grandfather was a bank robber, and so we didn't know if she needed an attorney for that, if there's any repercussions for her, but I think she's enough generations removed that she's free and clear.
Thank goodness.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah. I don't think it carries over that long. So what I want to do, I know Tim Bryant, who's on our station just before we are, he has covered this story that you and I are about to talk about pretty well, so we don't want to spend a ton of time on this. And the angle I want to talk about this is just from the delay. So either the Tara Baker trial that's taken place out in Athens, She was murdered, good Lord, over 25 years ago. And it's funny because when you start to hear these stories, you forget that it was 25 years ago. It seems like it was more recently. So now, as this is back and it's being tried right now, what are the complexities that the prosecution and the defense are going to face when you have something that's now a quarter of a century old?
Yeah, that's a great question, Mark. So 2001, I think, is the date. This is a horrific crime, very, very violent. I mean, she, was killed in her apartment, and the apartment set on fire.
It's heartbreaking.
It looks like there was, terrible, so sad, and looks like first responders were able to get out there pretty quickly because the key piece of evidence in this case that I guess was discovered in April of 2024, from what I've read about, is DNA evidence, which they had originally, right, from what they call like a rape kit or a swab kit that they do on the body of a
So they
deceased
secured
person
evidence 25
DNA.
years ago, okay, and preserved it. Yeah.
They did, and but they weren't able to really get any other information on anybody other than her boyfriend, I think, at the time. And then in April of 2024, they were able to get DNA information from that same sample on the defendant in this case. And so that's kind of what really brought all the prosecution together. So I think what the case is focusing on is this DNA evidence, right? Because you've got an evidence sample, from what I gather, that's got three people involved: her boyfriend at the time, herself, and then the defendant in the case. And the question is, how did his DNA get there? I'm not sure where the swab was taken exactly. I imagine it was like a rape swab kit or something like that. And not to get too graphic, but I think that the defense, the hard question they're going to have is, if that DNA evidence is reliable, how on earth would the defendant's DNA have gotten there? And there wouldn't be a very good explanation for that outside of maybe they knew each other, there was some kind of consensual encounter, but that doesn't appear to be the case. It looks like the defense is taking the tack that the DNA is just unreliable, and from what I've read about the case, it looks like they had a lengthy hearing about the DNA evidence, of whether it was admissible or not. Judge Lott ordered that it was admissible, and gave the defense an opportunity to maybe get their own expert. So the trial's still ongoing. Not everything's played out yet.
Well, and here's what, to me, it gets so complex is if they now have to rely on witness testimony that's going to be, like you said, 25 years old, this gets really hairy. And so I just, I'm praying for justice for this young girl. She was murdered. Somebody needs to be held accountable. And so I just don't know how they dig through all this. What a complex deal. But it shocks me that it's already been 25 years since the murder of Tara Baker. So we'll be following that, and hopefully they'll have a resolution to this case here shortly, and somebody gets held accountable. Let's shift gears over to the missing persons, the old Ann Guthrie, the mother of Savannah Guthrie. This one is kind of shocking the world, and who would have thought we would be talking for several days now about a kidnapping of an 84-year-old woman, right? I don't think these types of things normally make the news, and that's because I don't know that they happen that often, right? This is so unusual.
Right.
So the first thing that shocks me is they finally released this door cam video, which tells a lot, right? There's a lot of things you can identify about this person. Do you have any idea what the delay was in getting that out to the public? Was this a technology issue? Because this would have been helpful, to have it within, say, the first 72 hours, not nearly 2 weeks later.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and time is of the essence, I think, with these types of cases where you've got a victim that's been kidnapped and could potentially, be killed. Hopefully she's still alive. From what I've gathered, there hasn't any evidence that's come forward that she is alive, or necessarily that she's dead either. I'm not sure about how the door cam footage came about, but I have read that it was disabled initially by the perpetrator who was at the door. So I imagine that the FBI was able to get that footage or do something with their technology and all of the things that they have at their disposal to get that footage. And then, of course, they released it to the public and I've taken a look at it, and the person who's in that photo, whoever it is, I mean, they've got gloves on, they've got a mask, and it looks like they're probably using all kinds of tools, maybe even AI, to try to match faces in their investigation. So I think this is a really important big breakthrough in the case, which will hopefully lead to the capture of a suspect.
Well, and I think there's two ways that this goes. I think that this is somebody that possibly is connected to the family some sort and thought this was low-hanging fruit to go kidnap grandma and make a couple $1 million. The Bitcoin ransom demand is a whole nother show, because I think this is now exposing potential complexities of something like Bitcoin that is not traceable. And is this the harbinger of things to come, where this is now the tool of those that want to commit these types of crimes? So that's almost like a show for another day. The second element of this is what if this is a true crime organization? What if this is a cartel motivated operation, or somebody who is an expert in this field of kidnapping people for ransom? That's why I think this is capturing everyone's interest, is that it's so unusual, and this is probably the biggest whodunit in a long, long time.
Yeah, and I think with technology nowadays, it's so much harder for people to get away with things, and thank heavens that we have so many tools now that can identify folks. And I think that, it's strange to me that there's no cell phone data in the case. Your listeners may know about flock cameras. We have them in Walton County. They're all over the United States, so there's various cameras that are set up that are used to photograph or video things that law enforcement can access. I'm not sure if there was a flock camera nearby in this case, the Guthrie case, but with phones, with flock cameras, with so many resources that the FBI and local law enforcement have to track people and find people, it's really surprising that someone's gotten away with it for this long. So that, to me, indicates it may be somebody who really knows what they're doing. There's a lot of questions, right? It is a whodunit. It's scary, honestly.
It is scary. And if this turns out to be somebody outside the family, that even becomes more frightening. And my dad and I were talking last night, and he's like, well, how did she not have more security? And I think people don't think about the elderly being targets for something like this. Maybe, well, I guess you do with break-ins, but not a kidnapping, right? This is just so unusual. But I can tell you right now, I guarantee you that door cam videos, alarm systems, devices to stop people from breaking your harm, that is going to be an all-time high right now for the senior citizen community, because I think now everyone realizes, hey, this world's gone crazy and nothing's off the table anymore. So if you have loved ones that are elderly, keep them safe, keep them protected, get cameras, and button down the hatches, because nobody's off limits anymore, it appears like. Pete, I greatly appreciate you reaching out to us this morning and giving us your little insight on this, on the legal side. We'll do this from time to time again. How's the family? How's the kids doing? I know you're going all over the place with the big family that you have.
Yeah, family's doing great. Thanks for asking. Happy and healthy, and we're honestly blessed. And thank you so much for having me on. I'm happy to come back anytime and talk about legal issues or anything else you want to chat about that I could help with.
That sounds good.
Thanks, Mark.
Especially if we find out that Chastity's great-great-great-grandpa was a bank robber. She may need legal counsel. She'll need a good defense attorney. So.
Yeah, I might get into the old Dixie Mafia or some folklore.
That's right.
Into that, huh?
Who knows what stones we turn over. That's awesome. Pete, right. I appreciate you so much.
Okay. Take care, Mark.
Yes, sir. You too. It's Pete Wasnick, lawyer here in Monroe. Good to get a little insight, professional legal insight on some of this. Who knows where these stories go.
I like their opinions, too.
Yeah. We want justice for Tara Baker, and we want to hopefully find Nancy Guthrie alive, right?
Absolutely. It's crazy.
The nation's on edge. Yeah, you're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, Brandon Hutchison, Executive VP of Echo Park Speedway. We're going to have a great interview talking about some NASCAR stuff coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Youngblood Tractor in Madison is proud to be your local Massey Ferguson dealer. Massey Ferguson has been building straightforward, dependable, and affordable tractors and farm equipment for 175 years. Massey Ferguson right now has the best lineup in their 175-year history, and there has never been a better time to upgrade to a Massey Ferguson tractor. Youngblood Tractor carries the complete lineup of Massey Ferguson tractors ranging from the 22.5 horsepower subcompact all the way up to the 130 horsepower mid-range utility tractor. And with one of the largest trailer inventories in the state, you'll always have a way to get it home. Youngblood Tractor also carries the complete lineup of hay equipment, including the legendary Massey Ferguson 1840 square baler, as well as implements like rotary cutters, batwing cutters, box blades, grapples, pallet forks, and more. There are great financing promotions to take advantage of, so give us a call today at 706-342-2242. Youngblood Tractor also has experienced parts and service departments to take care of you after the sale. Visit us online at www.youngbloodtractor.com or stop by and see us at 1600 Athens Highway in Madison.
Serving Loganville and the surrounding area for over 25 years, it's the Main Street Barbershop, 305 Main Street next to Braxton's Auction in downtown Loganville, offering old-fashioned service and modern-day styles. Appointments available and walk-ins welcome. Open Tuesday through Saturday with a friendly staff and atmosphere. That's Main Street Barbershop in downtown Loganville. Call 770-554-3300 or go to mainstreetbarberloganville.com to learn more.
Double D Plumbing is a local, owned, licensed, and insured plumbing company in Loganville. You can reach Double D Plumbing at 770-466-8370. They have the ability to take on any plumbing job regardless of size or difficulty, with experience in all phases of plumbing, including commercial and residential, tankless heaters, sewer cameras, and drain cleaning. Call Craig Shepard at 770-466-8370 or visit them on the web at ddplumbinggeorgia.com. You're going to like the way they flow.
When looking for new shoes, the place to check out is K&D Shoes in Conyers. Family owned and operated for over 30 years, offering one of the largest selection of shoes for men, women, and for the kids. From name brands like Ariat, Rocky, Georgia Boot, Hey Dude, and others. You'll find everything from casual to work boots all under one roof. Be sure to see their great selection of outerwear from name brands like Carhartt, Ariat, and more. Need athletic shoes? Then see their great selection from brands like New Balance, Brooks, Reebok, Hoka, and more. Open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sunday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. That's K&D Shoes, 2250 Dogwood Drive in Conyers. Call 770-483-9037. Or to learn more and see their great selection, go to kndshoes.com.
Are you considering selling your house or land, or perhaps finding your dream home? Call Stacy McCullers, your trusted real estate expert with 12 years of experience and a lifelong connection to Walton County. Stacy is here to help you every step of the way. Whether you're buying or selling, she's available anytime to make your real estate journey smooth and successful. Don't wait. Call today, 678-859-6336. A member of Malcolm & Malcolm Realty Professionals, Stacy McCullers, your realtor for life.
Are you tired of going into car dealerships and never finding what you're looking for? That right salesman that's going to answer your questions and help you find what you are looking for. Well, at Loganville Ford, that's what we're about. It's not about buying a car. It's not about selling a car. It's about answering your questions and making sure we assist in every way. Loganville Ford is the hidden gem in America's car market. Come find out why we're the talk of the town. Visit us at LoganvilleFord.com or on Highway 78 in Loganville. Everybody knows where Loganville is.
Marc McMain, our next guest. Brandon Hutchison, he's the Executive VP and General Manager of Echo Park Speedway down in Henry County, formerly known as Atlanta Motor Speedway. Brandon, thank you for calling in today, sir.
Mark, thank you so much for having me today. I appreciate it.
Well, this is going to be a lot of fun. I've got a few questions queued up, but if there's any direction that you want to take this interview, you just take the lead and get out in front. So I'll kind of be the pace car, and then you can be you can be sitting in position number one. How's that sound?
I love it.
All right, good little NASCAR analogy to get us going. First off, tell us a little bit about you and how you came into your role with Echo Park Speedway.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, born and raised right here in the state of Georgia, so have never left. Grew up in North Gwinnett County, alumni of North Gwinnett High School. Went to Georgia Southern University. The final quarter of my studies at Georgia Southern, I did an internship here at what was Atlanta Motor Speedway. And here I sit. This is my 31st year. So have been doing nothing else for the past 31 years, but playing here at a racetrack. Feel blessed to be able to do what I do, and we're having a lot of fun doing it. I tell you, since 2022, when we increased the banking, racing at Echo Park Speedway has taken on a whole nother level. So it's been a lot of fun, but been around for a while.
And were you a NASCAR fan growing up? Is that what led you to that internship?
I was, yeah, absolutely. Now, it didn't really lead me to the internship per se. I probably would have been in football or baseball or something like that. I just did more of that growing up. But I was a NASCAR fan, and there was an opportunity to do the internship here, and I took it, and it's worked out so well for me. I'm certainly a big fan of entertainment, a big fan of outdoor entertainment, and this gives me a chance to do just that.
And tell us about the changes. So I did a little bit of research, and I wasn't aware of all these, but what are some of these improvements or changes or adaptments that you guys have made at Echo Speedway?
Yeah, on June 3rd of 2025, we got a name change. We changed from Atlanta Motor Speedway to Echo Park Speedway, and what that didn't just change our name. It gave us an opportunity to paint the entire facility. So when you talk about 850 acres and all of the buildings and painting that you'd like to do, when you start thinking about it, that's a lot. And so it gave us a chance to do all of that in one fell swoop. It gave us a chance to get all new signage. It gave us a chance to get a new marquee out front. We got brand new gate houses. The place just took on an entirely new look when Echo Park Automotive signed on as the naming rights partner for the Speedway. So going to be that way for 6 more years. We're excited about it, and hopefully our fans have picked up on it and enjoy it as well.
And when you have a sellout crowd, how many does that facility hold?
We're going to have we'll have over 100,000 people here for a sold out event. The Auto Trader 400 coming up next weekend is going to be a packed house. I don't know that we will get right to a sellout, but we know we got a bunch of people that are going to be here. We know camping is just about sold out in the infield. We'll have right at 3,000 families camping with us for a race weekend. So they're going to get 858 miles of on-track action, some of the most exciting action in NASCAR. And I can tell you this, when cars aren't on track, we're going to have something for them to do as well, whether it's driving your car on the high banks of Echo Park Speedway, the KZRV Fan Appreciation Party, the Party in the Peach Pit. We've got multiple concerts, multiple fireworks shows. We've got mechanical bulls. We've got sea lions. We've got the Canine Stars. We've got more entertainment packed into 2 days than most people will get to experience in a year.
It's almost like going to Disneyland for a weekend. I mean, you're thinking of everything for the kids all the way up to the adults and everything in between. I just love it. You're listening.
Well, and listen, that's what's very important to us. We want to make sure that not just the core race fan wants to come to Echo Park Speedway and have fun. We want to make sure the whole family can come and have fun, whether they like racing or just like all the stuff in the fan zone or the different activities, carnival rides, cornhole, bocce ball. We've got something for everybody.
Well, and that's if you go to a Braves game, that's what's happened now is that it's this wide appeal to be sure that if you have somebody in the family that isn't really enthusiastic about watching a baseball game, but they have great dining, or they've got, like you said, a fan zone, or there's other things that they can partake in, then it makes it a fun destination for everybody. So what you're doing now is if you've got the dad is a NASCAR enthusiast, but the mom is not really excited about it, she's going to look forward to the weekend because there's tons of fun for everybody to do. You know, there's something for everybody at this event is what it sounds like.
Absolutely. We try real hard for that. And it's not just in the entertainment. It's in we've redone quite a few of our restrooms. We've redone some of our shower houses. A couple of years ago, we introduced the Bootleggers Bar, which is a wide open-air bar that overlooks Turn 4 of the Speedway. So it's about different experiences. It's about making sure that if you choose to come here and choose to spend some time with us, that we work real hard to make sure that we're giving you the best possible product. And that doesn't mean the best concert. It might not mean the best racing. It might not mean the best concession stands or restrooms. What it means is if we try real hard at all of it, your experience is going to be better, and that's what's important to us.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest, Brandon Hutchison. He's the Executive VP and General Manager of Echo Park Speedway down in Henry County. Brandon, take us through what are the events planned for this year, and is there anyone that is the the crescendo, the big event, or is the Auto Trader 400, is that the big event for the year?
Well, the Auto Trader 400 is certainly one of our largest events of the year. There's no time in the year that there's more eyeballs on the sport. So the second race of the year, the Auto Trader 400 race weekend, is really, really big on our event calendar each year. A close second, if not a tie for first, would be our night race, our summer night race. We come back with NASCAR racing July 11th and 12th for the Quaker State 400 available at Walmart. So that's another big, fun weekend. But we've also got Feld Entertainment's Monster Jam. We've got the biggest, longest, fastest Monster Jam track of the year, so we know families love that as well. We've got the Spring Fair. We've got the Fall State Fair here at the Speedway. We host all of the Henry County High School graduations. We've got Import Alliance, Atlanta Truck Invasion, Bandosi Truck Us. We've got so many different car shows, truck shows, concerts. If you add them all up, and they're all different style and types and sizes of events, but we'll do about 1,500 events in 2026.
And think about this. For our listeners, this is no more than, say, 30 to 45 minutes from wherever you are down to Henry County. It's an easy commute to get down there. I did not realize the vast amount of events or the variety of events that you guys hosted outside of the races. So that is really impressive. I want to talk to you. I want to pick your brain just from the NASCAR side of the world. When we've seen the vehicles themselves, and I know this isn't necessarily something you have any control over, but I want your thoughts on this. I'm 55, so I miss the days when a Mustang looked like a Mustang or a Monte Carlo looked like a Monte Carlo. The cars now all kind of become a little bit more uniform, and I guess that's just to be sure that they're competitive. Do you hear that from the fans? Is there anybody that says that, like, hey, I want the cars to kind of look like what they're supposed to look like, or is that just me?
Just old guys like you. No, listen, I'm 54, so I'm the same way. I do kind of hang on. Well, when we grew up, there was that affinity for your car, right? It was either that 65 Mustang or that 68 Camaro or that 77 Corvette, whatever it would be. We worked on the cars. We liked the cars. They were part of our lifestyle, and so it meant something. You're really, Mark, hearing less and less about that because it's just different. As long as we have really good, close, tight competition, as long as that competition doesn't take 4 hours, then we've got an opportunity to attract fans. And I think that's what we've tried to do, right? We've tried to make the competition on track as close as possible. We've tried to stick to our heritage. So you even see the Dodge Ram coming back in the Craftsman Truck Series. So whether it's a Chevy, whether it's a Ford, whether it's a Dodge, whether it's a Toyota, it's you still have the opportunity to root for your manufacturer, but you're right, it does look a lot less like the day-to-day car. But yeah, I think people care.
Oh, and they still look amazing. It's still eye candy, right? To watch a race, whether you're in person or on television, is just a spectacle, right? To sit down and watch these cars going 200 plus miles per hour, but yeah, you're right. It's kind of a neat thing back from the old days of, you could spot a car not just by its colors, by the actual body style, right? You kind of knew what it was. I love it. NASCAR is it's a lot of fun. The drivers are, just incredibly talented people that do what they do. Are there any other manufacturers that you hear whispers of getting back? Because Dodge is not into NASCAR, right? So are they only in the truck series?
Well, that is NASCAR. So NASCAR Truck Series is like the feeder to the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, which is the feeder to the Cup Series. So if you liken it to baseball, it's almost like AA, AAA,
minor league. Okay, got you.
So Dodge is back in the Craftsman Truck Series series, and they'll be racing here. We have a doubleheader on Saturday, so we've got the Freight Racing 208. We've got the Bennett Transportation and Logistics 250, 458 miles of some of the most exciting racing on the NASCAR circuit. And yeah, so there's rumblings about other manufacturers getting into the sport. Nothing solidified yet. Dodge coming back is a real good indicator that the sport's as viable as it's been in a long, long time, and these manufacturers are interested in seeing what the sport might have for them.
I think they made a mistake by not doing the Challenger anymore. I think they need to bring the Challenger back.
Well, hey, you never know. You never know. We'll see.
Maybe they're listening to the show and they'll rethink their logic on this.
Yeah, they'll say, "Hey, that Marc McMain."
Yeah, he knows what he's talking about. He's 55. He's in the know on everything with NASCAR and what else. Let's follow his lead. So
that's right.
Put a couple $1 billion behind it just on his commentary. Brandon, in closing, tell our listeners how they can find out more about this race coming up that you're promoting, if they want tickets or the other events that you guys have going on throughout the year.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for the opportunity to have an opportunity to talk to your listeners.
Sure.
We do hope they'll make the short trip over here and come see us. But if not, maybe they'll tune in on TV. We just want them watching the product on track from Echo Park Speedway and judge for themselves. But they can go to echoparkspeedway.com, take a look around the website, and find a price point that might work well for you and your family. We've got ticket specials for students. We've got ticket specials for first responders. We've got ticket specials for military men and women. We really want to make sure that if you want to come see a race at Echo Park Speedway, there's a price point that would work well for you and your family. You can check out the weekend schedule. You can look at know before you go tidbits to help you on your trip to the Speedway. But we just hope they will come and see us. And again, if not, we do have the summer race this summer. Kids are out of school, so another great time to come see racing at Echo Park Speedway. But the Auto Trader 400 race weekend is here, and it's going to be a big time. So hopefully you'll come and see us.
Yeah, we hopefully put some butts in the seats for you guys, and this is going to be a fun race. And Brandon, thank you so much for calling in, and we'll keep you updated, or keep us updated as the year goes on of other events you have going, and we'll see if we can't help you sell some more tickets.
Yes, sir, Mark. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. That's Brandon Hutchison, Executive VP, General Manager, Echo Park Speedway. If you've never been to a NASCAR race, I've been to NASCAR. Yes. I've been to the Indy 500. I've even been to the little racing that they do up north of us in Hall County. I can't think of that track up there where they have the little endurance races.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Mile.
It's great. Yeah. But there's nothing.
Like
there's nothing like a NASCAR race.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, those laps and when the cars come around you and that wind.
Feels like an earthquake.
And that sound. Yeah, it's just, you got to experience it at least once.
And the question now becomes, if we continue down this path of eliminating vehicles with fossil fuels and everything's battery operated, so imagine a NASCAR race that is only like Teslas, right? Only battery operated cars.
Yeah.
I think you lose something.
Yeah.
You just have a bunch of buzzing going around. It would sound like a drone zipping around the track.
I see NASCAR being the last to embrace that. So
I don't think they ever will, because I honestly feel that if you go down that path, you lose something. There's something about the roar of those motors just getting after it. So
and the gas, you got to watch the guys in record time fill up the gas like they do. It's just like crazy watching their crew.
What do they do? Swap out batteries?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. True.
Plug it up to a charger. 3 hours, we'll have you back on the track. Oh, you're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, my friends, Ken, Susan, Boss, Brother Mike is here as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. Don't go anywhere.
Real country. This is Q92.3 WMOQ FM, Bostwick, Monroe, Madison. Your home for real country.
Hello, friends. This is Pastor Greg Butler with Bible Baptist Church of Monroe, and I have some good news for us today. In the book of Romans, chapter 5, beginning in verse number 1, God's Word says, "Therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ, by whom also we have access by faith into this grace wherein we stand, and rejoice in hope of the glory of God." We hope that you'll join us at Bible Baptist Church of Monroe. Our campus is located at 1180 Old Monroe Madison Highway, about 3 miles southeast of downtown Monroe. Sunday school begins each week at 10. We call it Bible Fellowship. Morning worship at 11 o'clock. Sunday evening worship at 6 o'clock. And Wednesday services begin at 7 o'clock. We hope that you'll join us here at Bible Baptist Church of Monroe.
Looking for that perfect piece of jewelry designed just for you? At P&A Jewelers, family owned since 1976, we've been helping our customers shine for nearly 50 years. Now proudly run by second generation brother and sister team, we specialize in custom jewelry design, expert repair work, and fine jewelry for every occasion. Visit P&A Jewelers, where family tradition sparkles. Located in Loganville beside Quick Trip, or online at shoppajewelers.com. Follow us on Facebook to see what's new.
When you walk through the doors of Campton Restaurant, you're not just here for a meal. You're part of a tradition. I'm fourth generation owner Josh Parker, and for nearly 40 years, families in Walton County and surrounding areas have gathered around our tables to share stories, laughter, and good Southern cooking. From crispy fried chicken to heart-healthy daily specials, there's always a plate waiting with your name on it. We're open Tuesday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. and 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays. So come on by, make yourself at home, and experience Campton Restaurant, where family tradition meets every meal.
Looking for a deal on a new 2025 Ford F-150? Then come to last year's #1 retail volume Ford dealer in the nation, Akins Ford in Winder. Hi, this is Brad Akins, and through January 31st, take $15,000 off the MSRP on remaining 2025 Ford F-150 XLTs and Tremors. Stock number 89625, MSRP 68758, with approved financing through Ford Credit and your 1995 renewer trade. Dealer retains factory rebates plus government fees. See dealer for details. Claim based on Ford's 2025 retail sales report. Visit us today at akinsford.com.
Dreaming of the perfect backyard this summer? Hi, I'm Jason with Rosewood Luxury Pools. We design, build custom in-ground pools with timeless design and lasting quality. As a licensed general contractor, we handle every detail from concept to completion, so you can just relax and enjoy the process. Summer's right around the corner. Let's get ready for your pool party. Give us a call at 678-635-7276 or look us up at rosewoodluxurypools.com.
Hey, this is attorney Bart Bitton with Bitton & Bitton. I live and work right here in Monroe, Georgia, and I am proud to serve this area. If you've been hurt in a car accident, you don't need some out-of-town lawyer that treats you like a number. You deserve a local lawyer you can trust, someone who lives here, works here, and takes care of people. So remember this, if you're ever in a car accident, be smart, call Bart. Bitton & Bitton, local lawyers you can trust.
Welcome back. Marc McMain in studio. Our friends of mine, Ken and Susan Boss. Brother Michael is with us as well. They are the owners of Boss Brothers Country Store in Loganville. Been friends of mine for, good Lord, two plus decades now. And so first off, I want to say thank you so much for coming and visiting with us in person today.
It's great to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it's good seeing y'all. Susan, we're going to start with you. Ladies go first. Tell us a little bit about your story, what brought you to Loganville, and maybe all the way up to the time where you met Ken.
Well, actually, I grew up in Mansfield in Newton County.
South of us,
yeah. And my dad had a farm equipment dealership, and that's where Ken and I met. And I tease everybody, but I think it's really true. He didn't want to pay full price for tractor parts, so and no other John Deere dealers that he had green stuff all over the farm. So. There were no other eligible daughters to get married to, so he settled for an International Harvester girl. So, but that's how we met, and we've been we're coming up on 34 years.
My
marriage.
goodness, 34! Congratulations!
36,
yeah.
So that's what brought me to Loganville was cheap tractor parts.
I love it. He's a fiscal conservative, so that's a big thing to us. Ken, what about you? Because you took me for a tour on your family farm. You have a long legacy in Loganville.
Yeah, we've been there, since the early 1800s. Me and Michael are the 6th generation of bosses to own it. And my son, he lives there. He's 7th generation. My granddaughter, she's 2 years old. She's the 8th generation.
Think of that.
There.
Wow. Does your family, have they done like a family tree or something to kind of track who the ancestors were going back to the early 1800s? Do you have a good understanding of who these would obviously be now? These would be great grandfathers.
Yes, I've got all that information at home. About my 6th or 7th great grandfather come over here from Germany through Amsterdam to Pennsylvania, fought in the Revolutionary War, and finally made his way to Walton County.
Isn't that fascinating to be able to trace your ancestors to this point? Because I'm going to tell you, a lot of families don't. A lot of families don't know maybe past their grandfather or their great grandfather, and you start asking people, hey, where's your family from? There's an absence. Now there's been kind of renewal with that with the DNA kits that you can buy, and it shows you where you're from. But for you to know personally and be able to see it on paper, the path, I just think that's I think it's fascinating.
Oh yeah, it's pretty neat. We're pretty proud of being able to do that.
Yeah. Michael, what about you? What was your perspective on this whole thing?
The farm itself is just. I think it's great. It's been in the family this long. A lot of people don't realize how long it's been there.
Yeah.
But it's a wonderful thing to still be able to own the place that
your ancestors farmed, and
you go over there, you look around and say, golly, they were actually walking and working where we are.
Do you guys have an understanding of what they were farming back at that time? And were they actively farming the land, or were they just homesteaders? Were they living there?
Well, they were living there and farming, and it was just subsistence farming at the time. And
so just to keep them alive.
That's right. Yep. And then, cotton was a big thing in the late 1800s up into the mid 1900s. And, they growed cotton and corn, everything they needed to survive. And then my granddad went to milking cows, I think about 1937, and we milked cows for 50 years. And now we're just beef cattle, hay, and we grow some soybeans.
Did you know early in your career? Well, let's back up for a second. So before Boss Brothers Country Store, when you guys got married, what was your career? What were y'all doing at that point, Susan?
Well, I was working at Hayes Tractor in Mansfield. So, and I worked there, after I graduated high school and for 16 years for my dad, and then. I left after our second child, Gracie. Once she came along, I left and was a stay-at-home mom for a little bit before we joined forces with Michael and opened up the new store.
Okay. And what did you guys do before the store?
Well, we just farmed, and Daddy was dragging me and Michael out of the bed when we was about 7 years old. We'd go get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, go milk cows, go to school, come back home, do it all again.
So you were brought up in that environment, hard work, early start to the days, long days.
A lot of work and a little pay.
Yeah. You weren't doing it for the money. What was it?
We did it because Daddy told us we was going to do it.
Did you have buddies that had regular jobs making more money than y'all working less hours and rubbing it in your face a little bit?
They never rubbed it in our face, but their job was a whole lot easier than ours was.
Wasn't none of them working when they were 7 or 8 years old, so there wasn't nobody to talk to about that.
I think I had my first job when I was 14 years old. I don't know if I had cut it out as a farmhand at 7 years old, but think about it. Think about the experience that you're gained. What it puts into you as far as work ethic and appreciating what you have. To be subject to that at that age, I mean, that gets you off to an incredible start.
I wouldn't want to be raised no other way. I mean, it instilled hard work. You get up and go to work. Whether you make anything or not, you get up and go to work.
Yeah.
And it taught you a lot. I mean, you grew up fast living with my daddy. I mean, you just did what he said, and there wasn't no rebuttal. And
no question about it.
No question about it. And you never told him no. And people said, I don't know how you did it. I said, you've lived in my house, you would do it.
Now, big family? What, you have other siblings?
Just us.
Just you two. Yeah, so that means a lot of it was on y'all's shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Any crazy stories from the early days working on the farm that jump out at you as far as like unruly chickens or cows that were getting out of hand that you had to rein in, or what kind of experience would that have been at 8 years old? Were you given a task and to send out on your own to go do it at that age, or were you working under his guys?
No, we was feeding silage, operating silos, plowing, doing whatever needed to be done.
Getting pulled over by the sheriff's department driving at what?
10
years old.
Police, they stopped me when I was 11.
So you got something in common with Chastity here. So that was another thing too, is people don't realize when you're in the ag industry, there's a lot on your shoulders. So you were caught driving a car at 10 years old?
Yeah.
Did they give you a ticket, or what did they do?
No, they just took me to the field where Daddy was working. He told me when I got out of school to get in the car and come up there. And so I did, and they took me up there and took Daddy back to get the car, and it wasn't no problem.
I don't know. I think, some 10-year-olds have a hard time running an iPad. I can't imagine 10-year-olds driving a vehicle, so that's something else.
You ought to have seen the vehicle, though.
Yeah. He would have got stopped if they'd have been an 80-year-old driving it as rough as it was.
Wasn't fit for the road?
It's more fit for the field or the pasture than the road.
Now, what about your first time on a tractor? How old were you then?
I was 7. We were plowing it's right inside Gwinnett County, a 50-acre field, and I remember Daddy saying, it's about time you learn how to do this, and he put me in the seat, got off, and said, now it's your turn.
At 7 years old, learning to drive a tractor.
Yes.
And there wasn't no cell phones then. If you broke down or had a flat tire or got stuck, you just cut it off and you started walking home.
Just walked home.
But all the times I walked home, I never made it home walking. Somebody would come by that knew you.
Yeah.
And you wasn't afraid to get in the vehicle when they'd take you home.
Well, that's a community we live in. It is. You know, we're a tight-knit community. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. We're visiting with Ken and Susan Boss, Michael the brother. Susan, and community I know is a big deal for you. You've been involved in certain things. So, again, this doesn't necessarily have to correlate with the store. What are some of the initiatives that you've taken or things that you've been involved in this area and the surrounding area?
Well, over the years, we've done different fundraisers. For several years, we had Be the Boss of You breast cancer ride. We raised money and donated to Winship Cancer Institute. We love to support fish. We support Shepherd Staff Ministries. A lot of our donations, go with them. And we're always welcoming in either Boy Scout troops, Girl Scouts, to come sell the cookies or whatnot. We love to do that. While we can't support everything financially that comes through our doors, they're always welcome to come and set up on our front porch, and do bake sales or whatever. So that that's where we like to support, and the 4-H and at FFA. We like to do a lot with them and see that they succeed.
Well, I love the small business model and the sole proprietor. I don't want to call us a dying breed. We're not a dying breed, but there are fewer of us, and there's more of the big box stores. But you guys have done something that's pretty commendable, and we'll dig into this in the next segment, is you've survived in a competitive environment. I mean, you have other big box stores, other options where people can go to. It's that personal touch that they're going to get at Boss Brothers Country Store. It's that community connection that you just talked about they're going to get. That's not going to be at the big box places.
Well, a lot of times I'll tell people I can't compete with convenience. We're not open till 8 o'clock, during the week. We're not open on Sundays. But as far as product knowledge and customer service, I feel like we can beat them and top any outfit out there, just by appreciating our customers, and then having our staff educated on the products that we have in the store, so that they're not coming in blindsided or they don't have anybody to ask a question, or that there's no one there to answer the question. So that's one thing that we really pride ourselves in, is excellent customer service and the product knowledge for what we do sell.
Well, and think about it. If you're there and you have a question, Ken has had firsthand knowledge of what's going on. So if somebody has a question about a feed or how to address something, whether it be repairing something or any issue that's taking place on the farm, I guarantee if you've been working on the farm since 7 years old, there's nothing that's happened that you haven't already seen and you've already experienced. One more question, and Ken, Michael, this goes back to you guys. What would you say that are some of the values that you try to bring into the business that you learned from being involved in this industry since 7 years old? I'm going to go ahead and give the layup. Hard work, I know there's one of them, but what else? What other values do you think are important to you that you learned from your family?
Just keep your word. If you tell somebody you're going to do something, then do it. It's pretty simple.
I think that's a lost art. I really do. I think that's a lost art. I think people now, the idea of the handshake as our bond, that has kind of gone to a degree to the wayside. And so that's there's something people really appreciate about that, is somebody standing up and doing what they say they're going to do.
Well, if something better comes along these days, it's sorry.
Yeah.
It's and a work ethic. We've got a good group going now, but I guess probably our biggest headache can be finding good employees that want to show up and work.
Well, that's it. We've had some people on the show talking about just that very thing, and it's now there's classes being taught in some schools and some organizations on work ethic and how to work. Now, that was something that was never a class that was given when I was in high school, because I think everybody was hungry, right? People wanted to get out there and they wanted to earn money, they wanted to make a living, and so there's definitely a deficiency there. And I know exactly what you're talking about. When I look at the vast amount of small business owners that I know in this community and beyond, probably the number one concern or issue that they're facing is finding people that want to work. And these are great jobs. These you're not going to get rich, but these are good paying jobs. You're working in a small industry, and it's tough to find people.
Well, a lot of times, I tell our employees, and the majority of them are teenagers. I said, I don't expect you to be here at Boss Brothers. I don't expect this to turn into your career, for the most part. But use this as a stepping stone. Use this as a learning opportunity, because all three of us are we've been basically working all of our lives. We are willing to teach you, mentor you, as long as you're receptive to it and appreciate the fact that we want to help you move on from Boss Brothers.
Yeah.
Because it's a starter job. We've got very few positions because we are very hands-on owners. One or of the three are generally always on site. That's just a pet peeve of mine. I think since our name is on the front of the building.
Yeah, you want somebody there.
One of us, needs to be there. And then we have Gracie, our daughter, Ken and I's daughter, who is the general manager of the front retail. But then it's like, come in and enjoy while you're there. Learn as much as you can, so that you can take that with you when you move on.
Yep.
And
carry it to the next phase of your career.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's always a building block.
Well, I said it the other day that when you go to work for a small organization like Boss Brothers, where else is it that you can work alongside the owner of a company? That you're going to be able to rub elbows. You're going to have people be able to ask you guys your experience. They'll be able to look at you as a mentor. They'll be able to be guided by you. So that's something that there's value to, and you're not going to get that working for a large organization. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Take a quick break, come back, continue our conversation with Ken, Susan, and Michael Boss.
When it comes to tasty treats, the only place you need to be is Stone Mountain Pecan Company. Offering high-quality Georgia pecans, other nuts, dried fruits, coffees, and candies, Stone Mountain Pecan has it all. And the best part, it's all online at stonemountainpecan.com. Or take it all in person and visit their country store on Highway 78 in Monroe. Stone Mountain Pecan Company. Something for everyone. Eat well, be happy. Are you looking for new tires? Well, look no further than Madison Car Care. They have the largest selection and you'll always get the best price. They also handle a wide range of auto repairs, from the small things like oil changes and wiper blades to the big things like suspension, parts, and radiators. They offer all kinds of accessories, from toolboxes to bed covers, side steps, and they even install those awesome ranch hand bush guards. Give them a call at 706-342-4774 or stop by at 1040 Confederate Road in Madison.
Since 1979, the Tim Stewart Funeral Home family has been caring for families in their time of need. The Tim Stewart family pledges to honor your loved one with excellence in service, compassion, and will guide you in making the right decisions. To learn more about the Tim Stewart Funeral Home family, stop in at one of their 3 locations in Monroe, Loganville, and Lawrenceville. Call 770-267-2594 or go to stewardfh.com.
Need a little pick-me-up? We've got just the thing. From Motown magic to British invasion brilliance, from classic country gold to rock and roll that raised a gentleman. We play the songs that make you smile, sing along, and remember when life moved just a little slower. Feel good again with the 50s, 60s, 70s, and early 80s on Good Time Oldies FM 102.5 WKUN, where every song is a memory waiting to happen.
Welcome back. Marc McMain visiting with Ken and Susan Boss, Michael Boss. These are the owners of Boss Brothers Country Store. If you're coming from Athens into Loganville on 78, it's on your left as you leave Monroe coming into Loganville, or the opposite if you're coming from Snellville back towards Monroe. It's on your right after you pass through the intersection of Highway 81 and Highway 78. Beautiful building. Michael, tell us about, so prior to the building being there, what was there? Tell us about what that initially was and how you guys opened Boss Brothers Country Store.
It was Jim Sizemore had an egg laying farm there, and Jim went out of business about 1978, 1979, and our granddaddy bought 2 of the chicken houses. And from then, they kept it rented from various folks, and I graduated high school in 1986, went to work for Daddy, milking cows, and August of 87, Daddy sold the cows, and I said, well, I'll try to go to college. Well, college just wasn't
for you.
Wasn't for me. So I come back home that December, and we had been selling beforehand, wheat straw and seed and fertilizer off the farm, and it got pretty busy with that. And the little store down there in Split Silk, Charles Ivy's little store, had closed up, and Daddy was always looking some way to buy something a little bit cheaper. So he decided we'd just open this store up, open a feed store up there in the old chicken house, and we bought some inventory, borrowed a little money, and went to work and worked there. I was in there 12 years, basically by myself for 12 years. And
what did it look like at this point? What was the actual feed store? What did it look like?
It was just that chicken house with a roll-up door in the front.
Did you have a sign out front? I mean, was it?
There was a sign store, and all I called it was the feed store.
Yeah. Okay.
And we went to work. I went to worked there for about 12 years, and gotten pretty busy with that. And Ken had lost a bunch. Ken was farming full time with Daddy, and they had lost a bunch of land, rented land to subdivisions, things like that, and was either going to move forward with the store, do a little bit more with it, or somebody else would have come in and done it. And so we talked about it and decided Ken would come in with me and Susan, and that's when we decided to build a new store, which Purina had come out with this premier dealership line, the way the building's built and all that.
Yeah, the aesthetics of what we see now.
Right.
Yeah.
And we opened up the new store May 8th of 2000. We opened the new store up, and we moved all the inventory from those
26
stores,
years, man. It just seems like it was yesterday.
to the new store. So
yeah.
We went to work.
And Ken, let me ask you this: what the shift of going from now being a full-time farmer to you being involved in the store, was that a big difference for you? I mean,
yeah, pretty big. I mean, I went from doing what I wanted to do every day as far as the farm to doing what the customers needed and the help that Michael needed over there and the support that Susan needed. I mean, they've always been full-time there, and I've always just been sort of part-time.
Okay. Do you feel that your experiences in the farmer, has that been a true benefit to the store, being able to help people solve their mysteries and deal with issues?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Folks that come in, with complaints about the grass in their pasture or something. I said, well, that's mine right across the road. This is the way we do it.
You can show them hands-on, right, how you fixed it.
And we all sort of have our specialty. If somebody's got a question about chickens or dogs, Susan's your man. If it's goats, Michael. If it's cattle, horses and goats.
Okay.
With Michael, about all I'm good at is cattle, I guess.
Well, but everyone's got their specialty. I love that. No question goes unanswered. And this is maybe a little precursor to something we're going to talk about a little bit later in the show. I'm curious, do you have customers coming in that are just getting into farming? I like to use the word boutique farming, but maybe people that are starting these smaller acreage tracts, whether it be the organic or something specialty that they're doing. Are you seeing that?
Yes, we see a lot of it. There is so many young folks out there that would love to get into some form of agriculture and really don't know how, don't have the resources. And it's quite sad. I mean, they're smart, they're willing to work, they're willing to learn, but it's just so hard to get into that industry.
I call it the barrier of entry, right? And Susan, you and I talked about this in the break, the cost of land, and we're going to get into some of this later on. But I was just curious to see, do you see an appetite of the next generation, of the younger generation, willing to do the hard work that you guys had been doing since 7 years old? Are there people really willing to roll up their sleeves and do this? And that's what we need. We've got to find somebody ready for the next generation to take this on. Susan, so for somebody who's never been to Boss Brothers Country Store, tell us, when they walk through the doors, what are they going to see?
Well, first and foremost, we are a feed store. If you have dogs, cats, chickens, goats, cows, horses, that is our base. And so we, the majority of the footprint of the store is dedicated to animals. And for years we had it kind of set up a pet side and a people side. And then with me, I like girly stuff. So it's like when we first opened up the new store, I wanted to bring in the person who had no need for feed, because for years, if the females weren't trading with Michael at the feed store, the men would come in, the ladies would sit in the car, and they wouldn't get out. Well, I wanted those ladies to get out of the car and come in and shop too.
That's brilliant. Yeah. Was
So-
that part of the Purina business model?
No.
Okay.
Ken and I actually we went to several seminars and trade shows with Purina. They had us coming in to talk about adding gifts to a feed store.
I've done Christmas shopping at your store before.
Yeah. And sometimes when we first opened up, there was a lot of blowback because there weren't chairs sitting there by the wood burning stove for the men to hang out. It was really frou-frou. They called it frou-frou. But it was updated, it was cleaned, and the oddest thing was when we had to borrow money to do it, of course. And so when we were shopping around and trying to talk with different banks, they didn't see the vision. They saw the feed store, of your granddaddy and your great-granddaddy's generation. They could not envision.
They weren't seeing what you were seeing.
They were not seeing what we were seeing. And bless his heart, Lee Garrett understood it with, who was he with back then?
It's a National Bank.
National Bank. Lee Garrett got it. And
Lee Garrett's a great dude.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. He financed it for us, and but it's evolved over the years, that we'll grow and shrink different departments. Right now chicken is huge, so we have had to grow the chicken department, and then our dog sales with our pet food, especially. A lot of our cat customers.
You've got a huge variety of dog foods.
And we're trying to build our cat customers up, but originally it was barn cats, and so they the barn cats have to do their own job.
They got the
mouse
scraps.
it. So we're building that, but we have tried to bring in, especially with the new realization of what's in human food, we are trying to get across what's in pet food.
Yeah, right.
And you can either spend your money at the vet, or you can spend your money on a better
and have be a healthier dog.
Have a healthier dog, and that's like I tell you. Let's take care of the basics. Go to the vet when you need them, but don't create by feeding junk, and then wonder why you've got a pet that's not feeling well and have to spend money at the vet. I said, let's just start with the basics. Let's do good nutrition, just like with humans. Good nutrition,
I think that's smart.
It really pays off. So, we've expanded and have. I never thought we'd have anything like Dr. Marty's to just really take off. And for the price that it is. It's unbelievable, but it's an unbelievable.
But like you said, either pay a little bit more for the food, or having unhealthy animals can lead to medical bills.
Exactly. Just like for ours, we have golden doodles, and I was battling ear infections with one of mine constantly, and we have tried and tried and tried. So the food really will make the difference, and we've changed ours over, mine over, and that eliminated one of the problems that I was having to see a vet for. And then going back with the gifts, I also do embroidery, and we are doing a lot of pressing of shirts there. So that's my history. I love crafting, and so that's a little bit of my expression. And so I will embroider that people can bring me their items. I do that, and then we create items in the store that's out for sale. So that's just a little bit of my personal enjoyment is to see the girly stuff.
Well, you've got so many unique things there. It's a great place for, like I said, men and women to come in. You're going to find something that you need when you come to the store. The one question I've got is, when you decided and you had this vision for the frou-frou, how did that conversation go with these two rough and tumble farmer boys right here? Did they buy into that immediately? Did they say, Susan, you want to do what?
You know what? I didn't have any resistance. Of course, it started off really little.
Yeah.
It was just like maybe a 10 by 10. It was just a little corner, and I'm a snowballer, so they kind of let me
They were high margin items, is what it was.
So that's what you were sold on, is that? But it's now I don't typically go to that side of the store, but I've looked over there and I think I see boots and maybe even apparel. Do you have apparel over there? Or?
On the women's side or the boutique side, we do, and we market the boutique separately. It's still all under Boss Brothers, but we market it as Southern Belle Boutique.
Ken, did you ever think there'd be dresses sold in your feed store?
Whatever makes the money.
We didn't have that on the bingo card, did we?
It got to where we couldn't get overalls. Back during COVID, we were trying to restock and get Carhartt, and then of course, some of the bigger companies, they'll start with your mom and pops. Then they start going to the big boxes, and they forget
so
about
it. They test it there to see if consumers are going to buy it, and then they see it's successful and they go on.
Yeah, and it just it creates a problem once it's out in the big boxes, because like I said, we can't beat on convenience.
Right, yeah.
Well, they depend on the mom and pops to develop a market for them. Once that market's developed,
and then they undercut you at the knees when they start selling to the big place.
That's what they do.
Yeah, that's shameful. That's shameful.
So, and after COVID or during COVID, we couldn't get the product in. So that's why a lot of the people don't understand why the men's department kind of went away. We still have the boots, and we haven't found a real suitable replacement for that. So that's why we don't want to get stagnant or stale. So we are ever changing.
You are,
the
right.
floor plan. We shift. The grocery store. People get aggravated when you go into the grocery store and they've revamped. Well, you've got to do something to keep it.
Keep it fresh. Yep.
And when you come to Boss Brothers, we want you to come and have an experience. We appreciate you shopping with us, and we appreciate the support. But we want you to, if you've got to spend the money, we want you to halfway enjoy spending your money. And just like last night, we had a Galentine's event for the women in the community, and so we're doing events like that to offer other opportunities just over and above a spending or a shopping opportunity. We had different vendors come in. We had a massage therapist, we had an esthetician, we had a local baker, and we had a jewelry vendor in there last night.
You guys are thinking of everything.
Yeah. Well, this goes back to Gracie. My time, I'm kind of on the downside of me doing a lot. Gracie has stepped in and taken over and has come up with a lot of great ideas. We're kind of tired, and so this new generation and the next generation has really put in new ideas.
That's right. That we need the infusion of youth and the new ideas coming back.
Gracie's wonderful.
She is, yes. No, I've seen her many times. She's always behind the counter, and she's keeping things under control. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Take a quick break. Come back with Ken, Susan, and Michael Boss of Boss Brothers Country Store. Don't go anywhere.
Clint Black on the Back on the Blacktop tour.
Walking in the moonlight, seeing nothing but the
Experience the country living legend, Clint Black. Thursday, February 26th at the Classic Center Theater. Tickets are on sale now at ClassicCenter.com. Clint Black, produced by Pepper Entertainment.
If you're in the construction business, you're going to need a dumpster at some point in time, and that's why you need to call Atha Equipment Rental in Monroe, now offering 20 and 30-yard cans. Atha Equipment Rental now offers a complete line of landscape and construction equipment like tools, trenchers, floor sanders, jackhammers, and so much more, like rentals for your parties with tables, chairs, popcorn machines, Dunkin' booths, and more. Call Jason Atha at 770-207-6041. That's Atha Equipment Rental on East Spring Street in Monroe.
Madison Flooring, located at 1167 Eatonton Road in Madison, is your full-service and professional installation center for all kinds of flooring, from tile, carpet, laminate, wood. They even do showers. They have granite and quartz countertops. All military, police, firefighters, and teachers ask for your discount. Madison Flooring is locally owned and operated. For knowledgeable and friendly service, call 706-431-5152.
Welcome back. Marc McMain. We're visiting with Ken and Susan Boss, Michael Boss, owners of Boss Brothers Country Store. Guys, I want to shift the conversation a little bit and talk about some of the complexities that the ag industry faces as it pertains to Georgia, things that I was made aware of when I got involved in this. A couple of things. Number one is the average age of a farmer in Georgia. May not be accurate data now, but at one point it was around 58, 59 years old, which tells us that there is a resistance from the second or the next generation to follow in mom's and dad's footsteps who own a farm. So that's one thing that concerns me. Going back to what we talked about a minute ago, how do we eliminate the barriers of entry so that young people want to get into this industry? And I don't mean they got to go have a 5,000 acre farm. I'm talking about if they want to open like the organic farms, these trendy deals that people are willing to purchase the products and they can make a living at it. So what are some of the barriers of entry? Land cost, I know, is one of them, but what are some of the other things that young people are facing to get into this business?
Know-how is a lot of it. I mean, they want to do it, but they don't know how to do it. Never had any kind of training to do it, and most of it, you need a mentor who will take you under his wing and teach you what he knows.
That's a great point, yeah.
I had a guy ask me, he said, Ken, why don't you teach me how to farm? I said, I don't know how to farm. I'm learning every day and still do.
But think about what you just said, because that's if somebody wants to buy a franchise, there's a manual of operations that shows them how to run the business. For farming, you have to go and you have to do trial and error, or you have to hire somebody like yourself to have them come in and look over your shoulder, and that's not something that can be taught in a day, a week, or in a month. It would take years. So it's really a complex business to get into in that capacity.
Yes, it is. And, one of the biggest things hurting it is we're probably 4 generations removed from the farm now. Your generation, most everybody's grandparents had a farm or a small farm. Well, that's gone now, and you're so far removed from the farm that there is no access to any kind of knowledge about that kind of thing.
It's a great point. Yeah. It almost seems like there needs to be something like a franchise model that shows you the A to Z on how to farm. But again, nothing would ever replace the hands-on. You're just not going to learn it. Like we talked about a second ago, Michael, you can go to college all you want to, but you're not going to learn about how you need to farm. The adversities that you're going to face in the field if a tractor breaks down, or if all of a sudden you plant crops and the crops are dying, right? All those different elements. And Chastity, were you able to find that statistic that we had? Oh, you got it for me? So this is another one. This one really hurts. So, Chastity, am I reading this right? I don't know if this is exactly right. So I know that farmers have contemplated suicide at a much higher rate than the average person. Adam Hammond had this for us before. Did you find that number?
So it's 3.5 more times likely since the 2025 data.
Yeah.
So if you're a farmer, due to isolation, financial stress issues, weather. So it's up.
So think of that. So now we have this issue where you have those in the ag industry, farmers, are considering suicide at a much higher rate than the average person because of all these downward pressures they're facing. That's frightening. That's very frightening. It's very concerning.
It is, and most of it's due to low commodity prices, higher input cost, and nobody wants to be the one who lost the farm that's been in the family for 5 or 6 generations.
Yeah. So inflation, obviously fertilizer over the past 4 years with the war that began over to Ukraine. I know that's escalated fertilizer prices. What else are you hearing from farmers? What are they telling you when they come in to buy their product from you guys that they're complaining about, that they're facing, that, and things that possibly can we address them?
Well, I don't know, and I don't know how a lot of this stuff got by the antitrust laws, but when you've got only 2 or 3 big companies in the United States producing fertilizer, 2 or 3 producing all the seed, you've got 4 big major meat packers.
Yep.
And I think 2 of them's foreign owned.
That's right. Yep.
So, when you get something that consolidated within one industry, you're asking for trouble.
Well, what upsets me is when you see the escalating beef prices, for example. Let's use that as an example. And then you find out that it's the meat packers, not the farmers, that are benefiting from this, right? So that the margins on cattle farming, and Ken, you know this way better than I do, the margins, have you seen them improve lately, or are they still slim?
No, they're good. I'll have to correct you on that.
Okay.
Beef farmers are making some good money now, but it's a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing. What I've seen, and I'll soon be 62 years old, through the whole life of your farming career, there's only going to be 1 or 2 instances where you can really make some good money on something. Another third of the time you're just breaking even, and then a lot of the time you're going to lose some money. And it's like any other industry. You've got your ups and downs. You've just got to learn to roll with the punches.
What can be done on the meat packing side? Because that is not an easy industry to get into. It's a lot of equipment, a lot of machinery, so it's a huge capital investment. But I think the best solution is, and I see this happening, maybe more boutique packers that actually raise their own cattle and then process it themselves. Are you seeing that happen here in Georgia?
Yes, there's a lot of that going on. As a matter of fact, they're fixing to build a small meat packing plant down here in Morgan County.
Really?
As I understand it. Not very big. It's mostly going to be a custom kill kind of thing, but still it gives the opportunity for cattle to be raised in a community, slaughtered and sold right there in that same community. Yeah. And things like that would go a long way in changing the way the beef industry is now.
Michael, what are you seeing? What are you hearing from people that come into the store on your side and in your wheelhouse? I mean, are there similar gripes and complexities that farmers are facing that we can address and that we can improve upon?
There's always room for improvement, but farming is a passion. These guys doing the farming, they do it because that's what they want to do. It's their passion, and it's sad to see their passion fade away.
Right.
Because most farmers do it. They don't do it for the money. They want to raise their family, make a good living, because that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what I say. And it's sad to see them, that passion go away, and they have to sell the farm that's been in the family so many generations and things like that. But that's what I say.
And Ken, you're part of the Farm Bureau, sir. What is your role with them, and how do they help?
Well, I'm president of the Walton County Farm Bureau, and our main objective is to promote agriculture in Walton County, and we do that with the money raised through our membership dues and through the sales of insurance. We do ag in the classroom, all kinds of things. We promote the FFAs, the 4-H clubs. Anything doing with agriculture and young people, the Farm Bureau is right there 100%.
I guess that would be maybe a good first stop if somebody is thinking about getting into that little small farming, is to go obviously join that, and then you have people that are part of this that maybe can be a resource and be an educational element to it. Yeah, that's good. Well, we all need mentors, and that one is that isn't more complex than anyone. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Covington Ford has something for everyone, from the power and comfort of a brand new F-150 to the family-friendly Explorer or the trail-ready Bronco. Covington Ford wants to be your #1 local Ford dealer by offering no haggle, below invoice pricing, and interest rates as low as 0% for 60 months. We believe your adventure should be limitless, not your coverage, so we're giving you a lifetime powertrain warranty on nearly all new Ford inventory. Come check us out in person or visit us online at covingtonford.net. Your next journey starts at Covington Ford.
Franklin's Gun Shop in Athens has everything you need for hunting and fishing. They have great prices on their guns, ammo, scopes, bows, gun safes, knives, blinds, tree stands, and rod and reels, clothing, and more. I do all of my shopping at Franklin's, and they're open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday from 9 to 9 and Sunday noon to 6. At Franklin's, you'll get great customer service from people who know what they're talking about. Family owned since 1961, located at 3941 Atlanta Highway in Athens.
Ready to grow your small business and reach thousands of new customers? Say hello to Town Values Magazine, formerly MTM Shopper, proudly serving the community for 22 years. Every month, thousands of magazines are mailed directly to homes in Walton, Oconee, Barrow, Rockdale, Newton, Gwinnett, and beyond to further expand your reach. Our magazine is packed with valuable coupons and services offered, helping families save money while supporting the community they love. We specialize in local direct marketing, marketing that works, building your brand, driving sales, and connecting you with the customers who matter most. Plus, we're online at townvalues.com and on Facebook and Instagram, giving your business even more exposure in print and digital. Ready to reserve your space in the next edition? Call Liliana at 770-267-6650. Town Values Magazine. Local, trusted, powerful. Helping businesses grow and families save.
Welcome back. Marc McMain, our guest, Ken, Susan, Michael Boss, owners of Boss Brothers Country Store in Loganville, Georgia, right off Highway 78. Coming from Monroe into Loganville, they're on your left. If you're coming from Snellville back to Loganville, you go through the intersection of 81, 78, and they're just down maybe a half mile on the right. Does that sound about right? Did I nail that?
Yep.
Okay. Let's start with you, Michael. You had a little success story that you wanted to highlight that I missed. I've heard of them before, but tell us about Jensen Reserve.
Jensen Reserve, Laura Jensen, she has got into the pork business, slaughtering her own, harvesting her own pigs. She opened up her little meat market store where she slaughters them. You can go buy direct off the farm.
Think of that.
And she has other stuff besides just pork. She has grass-fed beef. She has the little store is small, but it is full.
And some of the stuff she raises right there in her backyard.
Raises right there in her backyard. She's wonderful to deal with, and you're trading with people. You're trading with somebody that's going to know you when you walk in the door.
Well, we talked about it in the break that I think this is the future for people who want to get into the ag industry of some sorts, whether it's planting crops or organic farming, which is a big deal, or like you just said here, where somebody's raising, processing, and selling right out of their backyard. That is a feasible business concept, and I think the customers are going to be willing to pay a premium knowing a couple things. First off, that it's done right there locally, and secondly, the dollars are being spent in your community. They're going to stay in your community.
It's a premium product.
Yeah.
I mean, she's doing it herself right there.
Yeah, she's right. I guess that would be Monroe, I'm assuming, is where she's... Is it North Loganville? Yep, okay.
Bullocks Bridge Road.
Yeah, Bullocks Bridge Road right off 81. Ken, let's talk about the future outlook. What do you think the agricultural industry looks like in the next 20 years from now? So this is when you and Susan are retired and living on Mexico Beach down there enjoying the splashing, the white sand and the splashing water.
The agricultural industry is going to be good. It's like any other industry. It all has its ups and downs. You have to roll with it. But just remember, you only need 5 things in this world to live. You need air, you need water, food, clothing, and shelter. God provides the first 2, and the farmers provide the last 3.
Amen to that.
So as long as there's a need for that, then agriculture will be around.
Well, it's such an important deal to this state, not just in dollar wise, but just like you said, what people benefit and the security. I've heard this phrase this way: when you look at the ag industry, it's a national defense issue. This is a really important thing, and it's important that our farmers are protected. And it's important that we continue to eliminate the barriers so that younger people can get in this industry, whether it's starting something new, like the boutique farms, or taking over mom's and dad's place. We've got to be sure that A, they want to do it, and B, it's financially friendly that they can do it. What advice would you give to somebody that is thinking of getting into this industry?
Go to work in that field of the industry that you have an interest in, and develop your interest, and find you somebody that'll help you. And it's like any other thing. The harder you work, the greater the rewards can be. It'll be tough. Nothing's ever easy, but it can be done.
Yeah. It's definitely tough, but it's rewarding work. Susan, small business is such a big deal. You and I have been associated business-wise for decades now, and you think about the importance of having a store in your community, that the dollars stay in your community. We hear the phrase often, small businesses are the backbones of our community, but what does that really mean?
Well, to me, what that means is partnerships. We have partnerships with other local businesses, like Laura Jensen with Jensen Reserve. We have brought in a small bread baker, featuring her products, and then our relationship with WMOQ. WMOQ is a small business. We're a small business. We have to have each other's back, and so with that being said, when you think about the big boxes, their profits aren't staying necessarily here in
Sure.
Walton County. But when you trade with a local mom and pop, privately owned business and advertise with WMOQ for this, your profits are staying,
That's right.
here, and they're supporting, other businesses in the community. And it's often funny when some of these. And you see it on Facebook when they're, I hate they're going out of business. Well, did you support them?
Right.
It's one thing to say, yes, they're in my community, but did you actively go and support? And then, but when they're gone, there's nothing you can do about it.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
I challenge and I would hope that people would. Think before you spend your money. Where do you want your money going? And what not only supporting local business, but what do you want your, what values do you
right.
want your money to support? When you go back and look at some of the big corporations, the donations that they make nationwide,
Yep.
It may not align with your
you may
your
be
faith,
supporting initiative that you don't support.
Absolutely. So, I challenge the customers out there in Walton County to think before you spend your money, and because when you shop with Boss Brothers, you are going to be appreciated, and we do our very best to earn your business every day. We don't take your business for granted, but we hope that we can earn your business and keep your business.
And tell us about how somebody can find out about the store. So again, I'm going to kind of recap. Do this. Give us the address of Boss Brothers.
We're located at 3084 U.S. Highway 78. You have to put that U.S. if you're going to put us into to GPS. If you're coming, like you said, coming from Loganville, we're about a mile past Maxi Price on the right. If you're coming from Monroe, you'll pass Bay Creek Church Road, and you'll have to make a U-turn and come back down. We are open Monday through Friday from 7:30 till 6, Saturday 7:30 till 4. You can find us. We are on the social medias on Facebook, Instagram, and we're doing TikTok. Some of our girls have created some TikTok videos they're pretty entertaining.
Does Ken have a TikTok video that he's done yet?
He's been in a couple.
Have you really, Ken? All right, Ken's with the times. All right.
Yeah. So and it's all about trying to stay current. Sometimes I tell my people I feel like I'm an old dog and I don't know how to do new tricks or learn new tricks. But that's why we have Gracie and the other girls and the employees there to keep us current and just to have fun. We're just a family that want to serve the families of Walton County, and just hope that you'll give us a chance to come in and see what we're all about.
It's well worth the drive. It's a great store. Like you said, you're going to be welcome. There's tons of resources there, and it's a good place to go. Even if you don't need feed for any of your animals, there's other neat things that you guys have there. What's next for you guys? I tell people that when you own a small business, it's always hard to find that exit strategy, right? Whether you hand it off to the kids, whether you sell the business, whatever you do. What do you guys envision? Where are you going to be in 10 years? Are you going to be on the beaches of Mexico Beach enjoying the water, or where are we going from here?
Well, I'll go down there a good bit, but I don't want to live at the beach, but we want to enjoy our time. Like Ken and I are going to be 62 this year.
My goodness, okay.
Yeah, so it's like, it's time for us to start, thinking about that. And I don't know what Gracie's plans are. We got to figure out what Uncle Mikey wants to do. That's the next.
Mike wants to go back to school. He said he wants to go finish that degree that he started. He never got around to knocking out.
But it's been a fun ride for us. And people. They don't understand how we get along, but we have. I mean, Ken and I are together almost 24 hours a day, and then when you throw a brother and brother-in-law, I called him my husband-in-law or something years ago. It's like, because we are together more than we're not.
That is way more complex than people realize. It's when you are in business with a family member or spouse like Liliana and I are, you are in each other's presence 24 hours a day. right? So you're constantly working through things together. And if you want something to test a relationship, test a family, have a business with somebody, and you'll find out really how tight those bonds are, because it's not all fun and games. Matter of fact, it's far less fun and games than it is complex issues and high stress levels.
Well, I know who to ask for what. If I know Ken's going to go say no, I go ask Michael. So it's like, they'll say, go ask your daddy.
Yeah.
I go ask Michael. And of course, Michael and I will team up together on a lot of the newer things. Ken will stand back a little bit. Ken is. He's a little more reserved in trying new things.
He's old school.
He's old school.
That's right, fiscal conservative.
Yeah.
That's right.
And a lot of times, Michael and I aren't really afraid to try new things. But it's been a blessed journey for us. I'm not sure what we talk about it, but then we don't really want to admit ever leaving Boss Brothers, because it's all we know.
That's right.
All we know is how to work.
What would you do? Yeah, that's right.
Because I don't want to sit on the beach full time.
Yep.
But and Ken's beach is his pasture. He has his beach. I have my beach.
Yep.
And
Michael's writing us a note here. What you got, Michael?
Michael, I'll let you step in. And Michael has a side hustle. He has a side business. So if you're in,
wait a minute, what does this say? Is this what you do on the side, Michael? Bury horses?
Yes, sir.
That's got to take some time.
Yes, sir. It's a service to the community.
Yeah.
You have a big animal that passes away. You got to have something to do with it. So,
Didn't cross my mind yet. Burying a horse, that is a massive undertaking right there. Okay, so that's like a little side gig that you do for somebody who's lost a horse.
Yeah, I do. I do quite a few.
What do you bring a backhoe in and dig a hole?
I have one I've got to transport to the university tomorrow for a necropsy.
Okay.
To do that on the horse, but I've started this about 3 years ago.
How deep of a hole do you have to dig to bury a horse? How deep of a hole do you have to dig to bury a horse?
You need 6 foot of dirt on top of it. It
Okay.
needs to be about 8 foot, about 6 foot of dirt on top of it.
Something I never thought of when a horse passes away. Not like a dog you just put in your backyard. A horse, that's an event.
We've done dogs, we've done horses, we've done cows, we've done llamas. We've done a little bit of everything.
I think everywhere I've lived, I've got a dog in the backyard buried somewhere. So
we have our little graveyard.
Yeah.
We keep our cats separate from our dogs, so.
Yeah.
But no, that is a side service, that we're offering through, or that Michael is offering through Boss Brothers. So if you do have any needs, he's there.
You guys have thought of it all. This is fantastic. Well, I greatly appreciate y'all coming in and sharing all this with us. A lot of fun.
It's been fun.
Yeah. And keep us updated. Anything new coming along, you reach out. We'll have you do a call in and update. Chastity will schedule, and you can give our listeners, what's next on the horizon for Boss Brothers Country Store.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Chastity, what's in store for tomorrow?
So for tomorrow, we are going to have Mr. Randall Trammell.
He's running for state school superintendent. Yep.
Yep. And then one of our very own Jeff Hood's friends, Mr. Rick Britton.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yep.
What are we talking about? Do we know? Do we know what the subject matter is? A surprise. Surprise guest?
Surprise.
All right.
Yeah.
Surprise guest.
Then P&A Jewelry is going to kind of come on and give us some
just
updates.
in time for Valentine's Day, because you know what? As I told the listeners yesterday, I got some making up to do. I forgot to schedule a reservation.
I bet he'll help you.
Yeah, he's got to come through the pinch for me.
Yep. And then Mr. Nick and Camerel. So we've got some young leaders, Nick Camerel and Macy Rutledge.
Oh, that's right. Yep, they're with a group that is hosting a 5K. I think this is a benefit for Lakin Riley.
Yep, Lakin.
So, yeah, they're going to talk about that. And I think that's coming up. I don't know if it's this weekend or next weekend.
It's coming up real soon.
Yeah, it's going to come up real soon, and that's a great event that they're putting on. So we're going to help them promote that. A lot of fun. All right, so Stack Show tomorrow. We're going to be busy. Folks, we will be back on tomorrow at noon. Until then, stay safe.